Hello, I'm Lucy with Body Balance Nutrition. Today we're making fermented vegetables. There are two benefits for eating fermented vegetables. One, it's a great source of probiotics or good bacteria for your gut health. Two, it's an excellent source of minerals, specifically vitamin K2. Now we use this body ecology culture starter because it's been proven to contain the right type of bacteria that you want to start the fermentation process. The bacteria are going to eat the sugars and start to grow, and that's what you're going to eat to start to populate your gut. This specific one has been studied extensively, so it's proven to contain the right type of bacteria we want, specifically the Lactobacillus plantarum. That one's been shown to actually stay and populate your gut and improve your health. So let's get started. So to start, you want to make your culture starter. Take a jar, put in half a cup of water, a little bit of sugar. Now we don't normally talk about using sugar, so this isn't to give your fermented vegetables a flavor at all. This is the only time that we bring up sugar in Body Balance Nutrition. The point of the sugar is that it's going to feed the bacteria in the packet and get it started. So we have our half a cup of water, honey, which is our source of sugar, and then put in 1 packet of the culture starter. Let that dissolve together and sit for 20 minutes. Start with a half a head of cabbage. This was quite a big cabbage that I got, so I'm going to use half a head. If you have a small cabbage, you might use the whole thing. We also today have kale, 1 carrot, peel is already taken off, jalapeno, and some ginger. Again, the peel has been taken off. Start by cutting off the end of your cabbage and taking off the outer layers. Set those aside. We're going to be using them at the end. Then chop up your cabbage and chop up the rest of your vegetables. After you've chopped the cabbage, add about a handful to your Vitamix to create a brine. So a big handful, and start with about a half a cup of water. You're going to be making a very thick soup-like consistency. That's done. We'll let it sit there and finish chopping the rest of the vegetables. All right, we have all the vegetables chopped up. I'm going to start by stirring them a little bit with my hands. You'll notice that I used mostly cabbage here, and I actually didn't use the whole bunch of kale. So you want to mainly use cabbage when you're making these fermented vegetables, and then add any other types of vegetables or seasonings that you like to add more flavor to it. But we use mainly cabbage because that's what's going to be having the right bacteria in it to get the fermentation started. Then we add our brine. Add your dissolved culture that's been activated by the sugar and stir it all up. So we have a super full bowl here today. If you're at home doing this, you might want to transfer it to a bigger bowl so you can stir it really well and thoroughly. Once it's stirred, put all the vegetables into a jar. So we have a bell jar, a large one here. Pack it in down into the bottom so that you can try and prevent air from seeping into the vegetables. Let's see if we can fit all of these in one jar today. If you make a huge batch, you might need to use 2 jars. As we're packing it, you see that it's a really bright, crisp green color. Once we're done packing it, we'll put the lid on and let it sit on the counter, and that's where the real fermentation happens. The good bacteria are going to start eating any of the sugars that are in the vegetables or in that honey that we added earlier, and then they're going to start to multiply and grow. And when you eat the food, that's how you get the good bacteria in your own gut. Pack your vegetables up to about 1 inch, even 2 inches You want 2 inches of room above the vegetables. Now pour the water in. If you don't have enough of the water in your bowl, then just add some more water from the sink. As I'm pouring, you see that the water level in the fermented vegetables is starting to rise. It's about 1/4 of the way up, so I'm going to add some more water from the tap. Enough water so that the vegetables are almost covered. Water line matches the vegetable line at this point. Now we take our discarded ends, take that leaf that we peeled off and fold it into a little pillow, the size of the top of the jar, and place it right over the vegetables. Press it down. So 2 reasons that we have this pillow. One reason is to keep the vegetables pressed down and in the liquid. Second reason is just to protect the top of the vegetables. This top pillow is going to get brown and squishy. We'll discard it when the vegetables are ready to eat. Then screw on the lid just tight enough so it's screwed on. You don't want to overly screw it. Set your jar on a plate on the counter, and that's it. You let it sit there. Every day, go back and check your jar and burp it. So you'll open it a little bit, let some of the gas out, and close it up again. We have one here that's in the works. We just made it a few days ago. So you might notice as I'm burping it, bubbles rise, and then you squeeze it back closed again. As the fermented vegetables sit on the counter fermenting, you might notice liquids starting to pour over the sides, bubbles forming. You might even hear the gas escaping from under the lid. That's all normal. That's why you want to make sure you're paying attention to it every day. And how long does it take for the vegetables to ferment? Kind of depends on the temperature of your house. So if it's warmer in your house, it might take about a week. For most fermented vegetables, it takes about a week. Otherwise, if your house is colder or you prefer a stronger, more fermented flavor, keep them on the counter for 2 or even 3 weeks. The longer they sit out, the better they taste, up to about 3 or 4 weeks max. Then, once the vegetables are fermented to your liking, you'll put them in the fridge for storage. And then you can take them out of the fridge when you eat them. So here's a finished product. Here we have some in a bowl. So you notice that now it's a little more multicolored. It's not so bright and vibrant, and the vegetables aren't as crisp because they've been broken down by the bacteria. It has a pungent flavor, kind of a sour flavor to it. And start by just having a tablespoon or so. Notice how your body responds. So remember, this is a live food. It has live bacteria in it that are starting to go in, repopulate your gut. If you experience any tummy upset or any digestive upset like bloating or gas or diarrhea, that's not necessarily a sign that this is bad for you. It's maybe just too much too fast. That's a sign that the good bacteria are going in, starting to kill off the bad bacteria and yeast and repopulate with that good bacteria. So start with a tablespoon, progress up to a 1/2 cup a day, and enjoy.